Perhaps it's an unpopular opinion, but this Christmas we have decided to give Santa the boot in our house. Do you two struggle with it's complicated relationship with Santa? Have you been feeling the guilt of letting go of a beloved tradition and losing the magic of the season? In this episode, I'm sharing why we are giving him the boot and how we are doing it with grace. Now, this episode is not meant to persuade you to give Santa the boot yourself. And it's also not meant to shame you for choosing to continue to use Santa and your own traditions. In reality, I struggled to find a solution that worked for us with a Google search and some stories of others. And I just wanted to provide some insight on how we are tackling this challenge as a family.
Welcome to There Will Be Joy. I'm your host, Lauren Alonso, and I am a wife and Southern mama of 4 and counting. I'm that crazy friend of yours who's always ready to dream big with you, cheer you on as you dance to the beat of your own drum, and help you find the silver lining in every situation. I'm here as your host to help inspire you to live with joy, equip you with every listen, and empower you in your journey. I believe that life is a series of stories worth telling. And in this podcast, I'm going to share my own stories, the stories of others, and practical tools to help you explore how to live with intention and purpose no matter what is thrown your way. My hope is that you smile a lot, cry a little, and laugh so hard that eventually you pee your pants. Not kidding, friend. You are welcome at our table, so pull up a seat.
We talk a lot in America, and especially the South, about how Jesus is the reason for the season. But from my perspective, I feel like the gospel, the good news that a child is born and a king to rescue us, has been watered down. It's been overshadowed with magic and icicles and colorful lights and a jolly man in a red cap with rosy red cheeks who is flying through the air, led by his tiny 8 reindeer with toys for all the good little boys and girls in the world. Just like Charlie and Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. I too grew up hearing those hooves and sleigh bells on my roof. I left carrots and notes and cookies for them all. I was always the first in my family, even as an adult, to turn from trick-or-treat to twinkling lights, and sometimes even in the same night. I dressed my goats in Christmas sweaters and held Christmas baking festivities at our farm, with every inch of our home adorned with decor. So, it's with a heavy heart that I say, this year we're giving Santa the boot. Santa was such a huge part of mine and my husband's childhood that it's hard to not feel guilty about leaving behind a beloved experience and tradition. I thought this was just the way that it was, that every family experienced Santa. And let's face it, the magic of the season is just as fun as an adult as you watch your children light up and believe. Am I wrong? But something felt that way. Very wrong. And I'm not merely talking about the debate of whether or not we're lying to our kids and how devastated that they will be once they realize that we hid the truth from them and they start to question their salvation and their belief in Jesus. Bear with me. Halt. Hit the brakes. I'm talking about something deeper in my heart. Our kids are 1, 3, 6, and 20. By the time I adopted my oldest son, he was 14 our first Christmas. I didn't have to decide for him. He already knew the truth about Santa. But our 6-year-old is the only one who truly experienced the magic of Santa in a way that makes this transition hard because he remembers. He's seen the movies, making Santa the most anticipated part of the season with good reason. He can't unsee the experiences and the things that he's imagined, dreamed, and lived. It's too much all at once for him to digest this, and so I knew he would have to do it over time. But I dreaded the thought of having to hear this heartbreak story and disappointment that Santa is not real 4 times with my littles. So this is how we did it. We made a prayerful decision about gently letting go of Santa. We started with Jesus. We began sharing about Jesus earlier this year. Even more, we took it up a notch. We read Bible stories, not merely making church the only time that Jesus was woven into his life, but making Jesus the center of our life in conversations and prayer and Bible readings. We removed the secular junk from his TV instead of watching Puppy Dog Pals on repeat for the 15th time. He's watching what he calls Jesus shows on Right Now Media, and he's so absorbing every bit of it. We made Jesus bigger. We openly talked about make-believe and magic to make sure that he understood that none of that is real, because our children's entertainment is filled with it today. Imaginative play is one thing, but magic? No. And I want him to know the difference between the two. I sat down a few weeks ago and I asked him, what do you look forward to the most? And he said, well, presents, of course. And there you have it. I know every kid wants gifts, and receiving of gifts is something that I couldn't wait for every holiday as a kid. And gift giving is something I've really struggled with for years. I don't remember much from my childhood Christmases outside the gift exchanges, besides maybe some shared meals, decorating the tree, and watching movies, which was special, and I'm grateful for them. But I don't remember Jesus being the center of any of it. And I'm on a mission to change that for my children. Maybe your experience was different, but it sure feels like Santa and presents have completely hijacked the entire reason for the season. We say Christmas is about Jesus, but even as I look around my own house, I am burdened by the comparison of abundance of Christmas cheer and the lack of signs that Jesus' coming is near. My son's remark that his favorite Christmas pastime is getting presents totally makes sense. He's 6. But what I truly want for our children to anticipate the most is Jesus. Not Santa, not the elf on the shelf, not gifts. For years, I felt burdened by the overwhelming focus on gift giving. Each year, piles of presents seemed to grow bigger and bigger. And while I love the idea of giving, the materialism, it doesn't sit well with me. I don't want entitlement. I want more meaning, more connection, and less stress of impressing my children with bigger and greater gifts and expensive for mom's wallet, if you know what I mean. So here's how we're approaching this change and why it has brought us so much peace. Now, some people call this like the 5 gift rule. I'm loosely following it. And the point is really just to create more simplified and creative intentionality behind it. So we're just flexibly following this. And here are some ideas. So is this something to share, something to do, something to wear, something to need, something that you want approach. And some people even throw in something to read. Now, one of my kids is, of course, old enough to where he's learning how to read. And this is fun. But my 3-year-old is tearing books apart like they're nobody's business, and I'm not getting her books for her to tear them apart. So to each their own, make it your own, make it fun. So something to share. We've been building a mud kitchen for our kids to see and use together. If you've been following me on social media, you've been seeing the behind the scenes stories and reels about this, and we are so excited to watch it come to life. And the best part is that they've actually been watching their daddy build it in the garage. And while they don't know what it is, that's part of what makes it so special, because when they see it in the finished glory, they're going to know, like, Daddy put his time into this. It's going to be a core memory that they have forever. I love the concept of shared gifts as well. Like, it's not something that everyone is going to get something big. Like, their big gift is the thing that they're sharing. And it makes a lot less room for fighting, and it encourages quality playtime, which I want my kids to be really close. Now, something to do. These are for us like special one-on-one experiences. For Grayson, it's a Lego store date, Chick-fil-A, and riding on the escalator. Like, that's all he wants to do. We've been doing it for the past 2 years, and he absolutely loves it. We do it in January every year, and it's a tradition. But this year, Addie's a little older, so she gets to participate. And so Daddy's going to take Addie on a special date for some one-on-one time. Maybe a pedicure, because secretly my husband loves pedicures. I also love the idea of doing things collectively as a family leading up to Christmas, but I'll share more of that in a moment. Now, something to wear. I'm headed out this week to grab our coordinating Christmas pajamas. I'm not talking about matching PJs that cost $50 a pair. I am a frugal mama, and I am going to Once Upon a Child, but this is a Christmas tradition that my dad passed down to us. They will open up their Christmas pajamas on Christmas Eve, and I'm so excited. Grayson will also get socks, Abel a snowsuit because it's cold outside, and he doesn't have snow-appropriate clothing. And Addie, probably a new pair of shoes. Now, something they need. Practical but thoughtful gifts are perfect for this one, like homeschool tools and a real knife, like cutting board and kitchen set that's safe for kids. Grayson loves to cook alongside me, and so I got him that. I am so excited, and I have an apron that he wears all the time, but I have never put his name on it. I'm going to put his name on it this year, and Addie's too. It's going to be so much fun. So Addie and Abel will also get age-appropriate block sets to help them with their motor skills. Those are just fun. Like, they're fun and they're a need. right? Now, something they want. Small, joyful surprises like no mess markers, kinetic sand, and mud kitchen accessories, of course, like garden shovels and kitchen utensils, will be at the top of those festive gifts from mommy and daddy. Something to read. We are giving Grayson a cookbook and a baking book to go with his kitchen set. And I'm also utilizing it for math and science, and of course, reading and life skills for homeschool. And if you know this, mama, that makes me super excited. This approach keeps the focus on quality over quantity. It teaches gratitude and eliminates the overwhelm of too many gifts. There's nothing flashy and nothing thrilling. Plus, it aligns with our family values of simplicity and togetherness. At the core of it, I want my kids to experience the act of giving, not just receiving. And that's why I've fallen in love with this idea of simplifying gifts. Something to wear, something to share, something to do, and so on.
Hey friends, if you love simplifying life with handpicked treasures for your home and family, you've got to check out our Amazon storefront. I've curated shopping lists for everything from kids and motherhood to holidays, crafting, and even essential oil DIY supplies. Plus, you'll find my favorite picks for cooking and family activities. Head to the link in the show notes to explore and find something special that brings you joy every day.
So here I am, navigating how to recenter Christmas for my family without losing joy and wonder and togetherness that makes it so special. It's not about getting rid of Christmas. It's about transforming it into a season where joy flows from our hearts and an abundance of what Christ has done for us. And friends, I'm not the only one that feels this tension, which is why I wanted to bring this podcast and blog to life for you in case you too find yourself in this season. Now, here are some other traditions that we are adopting that are more Christ-centered: Advent blocks and stories. You see this right here. If you guys are like watching this and not just listening, I am pointing to my Advent block set right behind me. This year, we're adopting the Good Kind Advent block set and stories into our family traditions. Every day in December, we'll read together, we'll reflect on Jesus' story and what it means for our lives, and we'll turn a block to a picture that coordinates with each story. And then at the end, we will turn the blocks to reveal a special message just in time for Christmas. It's a special way to build the anticipation for Christmas while keeping Christ at the center. This 25-day tradition will take the place of the magical elf on the shelf for us, which, if I'm honest, we loathe. I actually told Grayson that he can now play with the elf himself, and it's more of a game for him. He loves hiding it each day for his sister to find. Plus, he really enjoys the sneakiness of it. He loves setting up booby traps and using his imagination to come up with stunts for the elf each day. And it takes the pressure off of mom. Another shift we're making is inviting Grayson to participate in filling stockings with us from him instead of Santa. So it's a way to help him understand generosity and gifting. And we've explained the story of St. Nicholas and how his legacy reflects the heart of Christ's love for others. And I am planning on taking him on a special shopping trip to help him choose stocking stuffers for everyone in the family. I'm going to continue doing this as each kid gets old enough to participate and allow them to have a stocking that they get to fill for one of their siblings. And I am stoked about it. All right. So those are more Christ-centered, and then we're going to talk about just more of like holiday traditions that are more experience-based. A lot of people are doing more experience-based gifts, and I love that because they remember those so much more than a random gift that they got, right? I am big on quality time, and so are all my kids. Like, it's a love language we all share. Thank the Lord. They enjoy presence over presents, even though they might not be able to vocalize it yet. They talk about these things that we do forever and ever. So remember that time we blah, 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 blah. And it's like this sweet memory that keeps getting brought up. This doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be expensive either if you're worried about that. Here's some ideas of things that you can do that are meaningful and encourage time spent instead of money spent. I have created a list of goodies, 25 of them actually, in our Joyful Life community, and they are ready to download for free. So make sure you join our Joyful Life community. The link is in the show notes, and you can grab your download in the resources and links collection. Something to keep and something to eat. This is something that I just recently came up with, but I am known as the baker and the cook in the family. And for years, I have dreamt of having my young kids make cookies with me, and I am so excited about this new family tradition that also involves my nieces, which are just around the same ages as my kids. They play amazing together and they have a blast. This year, we will bake cookies, we'll decorate them, and craft dry clay snowmen that will be super cute little keepsakes for them to use as ornaments throughout the years to come. It's simple, yet it's connection based and joyful. Having this time that they get to spend together, and they have a keepsake collection for years.
I've got some super exciting news. If you're looking for delicious, tried and true recipes that your whole family will love, I've got something super special for you. My virtual cookbook, Simple and Southern, is packed with kid-approved recipes for every meal, including our favorite dessert. And the best part is, it's available now. I'm continuing to add recipes over time. You'll keep receiving these updates and your collection will keep growing. Head on over to Grits, Grace, and Granola, grabbing a copy of it today. Let's bring some Southern comfort to your kitchen.
So here are some practical tips in case you were in the same boat as me and you were wanting to transition away from Santa. Number 1, gently introduce the change. Start by sharing the story of St. Nicholas and explain how his actions pointed to Jesus. Emphasize that you're not taking away Santa, but you're actually digging deeper into your traditions. If your kids are older, involve them in the process and let them decide how to shift the focus. Don't be afraid to make it your own and ask them what they want to do to make Christmas joyful. Replace magic with meaning. Instead of Santa-centric traditions, fill the gap with Christ-centered activities. Advent devotionals, acts of service, and family traditions can create excitement while reinforcing the true reason for the season. Number 3 is set boundaries with grace. Not everyone will understand your decision, and that's okay. Be prepared to explain your why lovingly and firmly to your family. Remember, Romans 12:18 says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Your family's values don't have to match the expectations of others. Remember that. Now, here's your challenge for the week. Take some time this week to evaluate your Christmas traditions. Are there any that feel overwhelming or disconnected from the true reason for the season? Consider starting new Christ-centered traditions. Simplify gift-giving approaches. Remember, the goal is to create a holiday filled with joy, peace, and purpose with your values in mind. Keep this in mind as you're adding more things to your calendar, because that's not the point. It's not to fill your calendar, but it's to add more meaning to this season. I would love to know your thoughts on these traditions. So wherever you're listening to this, write it in the comments. I want to know how you're making these changes, what you're doing, and how you land on those changes that you decide to make. What if finding joy was as simple as joining a community of women who truly get it? Welcome to the Joyful Life Insiders, where it's just for you, where you'll find real friendships, unwavering support, and exclusive tools to make life joyful in every season. Here's what you can expect and what's waiting for you on the inside. Full access to the Joyful Life Goal Planner to keep you focused on your goals and your dreams and vision for your life. Weekly devotionals to go deeper with each podcast episode, community chats, group accountability, and exclusive workshops to help you thrive. Your journey starts here. Grab your free 7-day trial today on Patreon. Friends, Christmas doesn't need to be complicated to be meaningful. By letting go of traditions that no longer serve us and embracing ones that reflect Christ, we found more joy than ever. Whether it's baking cookies, reading Advent stories, or sharing quiet times together, these simple changes have transformed our season already. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would love to know how you're simplifying Christmas. Make sure to join us in the Joyful Life Insiders community. Until next time, friends, I hope you find joy in every season, especially this one.
Friend, let's celebrate. You've just finished another episode of There Will Be Joy. So I challenge you, find a friend to share this episode with, give them a big hug for me, and remember, keep spreading joy. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform and join our free Patreon community. And as always, leave a review if you're finding value in these episodes, because it means the world to me.